Good day, I'm Anne Dolenchek, and you are listening to Coffee Conversations about influencer marketing. In this episode, we're in conversation with Santoni Engelbrecht, the former creative director at eNCA, survivor South Africa castaway, and owner of Kwaito Koeksister. After being retrenched at the news channel, Santoni put her focus on her passion, her online clothing store Kwaito Koeksister. The online store has become a favorite with quirky dresses out there, and she grew this business through Instagram. And as fans will know, it's not only known for its clothes and accessories, but also for the daily memes that they share on their stories. So much so that people stop her in the street to discuss this. Santoni is also the main influencer and face of the brand, learning what resonates with their audiences as she goes. Being a castaway on Survivor South Africa also had a big impact on her brand as an influencer, but also on the bottom line of the business. So grab a coffee and listen as we discuss the importance of knowing what your audience wants in terms of content and keeping to your brand values, being brave and trying new content formats and see what works and what fails as a brand, the value of forming a relationship with your customers, and the cost effectiveness and overall impact of influencers versus traditional marketing. If you enjoy this podcast, you will also enjoy our fortnightly newsletter that keeps you up to date with influencer news from around the world. Subscribe at the link in the show notes.
This podcast series has been made possible through an exclusive sponsorship from SA's #1 nano influencer platform, theSALT. Most brands have a communication line to their existing customers, but not a way to get them to have additional positive brand conversations. theSALT solves the problem by identifying brand fans and getting them to talk more about their positive brand experiences. theSALT have a database of over 140,000 registered brand fans and in-depth information on each to perfectly match your brand to the right influencers. Reach out to them now and see what they can do for you.
Santoni, thank you so much for making time to speak to us today. Everyone who's listening, I'm sure know who you are, but just for reference, tell us a bit more about who you are. What do you do? What do you love? All those good things.
Hi, and firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor. Yes, I'm Santoni, aka Kwaito Koeksister. It ended up being. I'm an online business owner. I have an online shop, and I was also a contestant in the latest season of the South African Survivor. And what I love to do is I do love social media. I love people, and I just love our shop and what we do and what we stand for.
Amazing. So before Kwaito Koeksister came about, and I want to ask you about the name, how that came about. But first, what job did you do before you decided you're going to start this online store?
That's actually an interesting story. I worked for a television station, quite a big one, a news station. I worked for them for 12 years. I was creative director eventually after doing a bunch of other things for the company. I was creative director for them. And after 12 years, I got retrenched.
Oh.
That was quite a thing, and it was even without severance. It's a long story, so I was really down and out. But while I was still working for them, I went to Bangkok with my sister, and I saw these beautiful bags, and I said, let's just bring some with, because I think people will like them. So in the back of my mind, I wanted to do something online and start a business. And then Kwaito Koeksister started. In 2 days, I designed the website. We did markets. We went to a few markets and we had stalls there. And the rest is pretty much history.
Oh my word. I love that story. It's kind of like you already wanted to start this and then I'm so sorry you got retrenched. That's awful. I've been there.
But the universe kind of forces you into where you need to be. So you just need to trust the process.
100%. And I love that you say that. But now you've got Kwaito Koeksister, which is a huge success. Firstly, how did you come up with that name?
The name has been around for a few years. I love coming up with names and company names. But basically the idea behind the name is I don't like anything that excludes anyone. And I wanted a name that reflects South Africa and me and my likes and also be diverse. And it just kind of works together. I also didn't like Koeksisters growing up. I don't know why Koeksisters was such a thing, but now I love them. Yeah, it was again just to make sure it doesn't pigeonhole you in terms of a certain target market. So I wanted it to be as random and interesting as possible. So that's pretty much. It's not such a cool story, but that's pretty much how it happened.
I feel like it ticks all the boxes because it's also quite memorable. Like if someone talks about Kwaito Koeksister, it sticks in the mind. You're like, oh, Kwaito Koeksister.
So I love fantastic. Like names that's not conventional, like Apple. I love just Apple, just the name like Apple. Random. And you can make, to create a brand is not just the name. You can build a random name that doesn't make sense. I must admit, some people do phone us to put in Koeksister orders, but it's not happened often, in the past year. So luckily that's over.
Maybe that's a part of the business you can expand on. You can now have Koeksisters.
Yes, I think I should. I just need to find someone that can bake enough to be able to supply.
I love that. So obviously I'm a fan. I've been following Kwaito Koeksister online for a couple of years now. I think since you started, I think it was like 2019-ish, if I'm correct. Yes. Loved watching it grow. And I'll admit I found it because, disclaimer, Santoni and I went to primary school together. We were the original Koeksisters. It was fantastic. Yeah, so Kwaito Koeksister is not only known for like your funky things that you sell in your online shop and your clothes and your accessories, but it's also very much known for your cool memes on your Instagram stories. Everyone's always referencing it, and I know I screenshot a cutload out of them.
I must say that was a pleasant surprise. I can't remember even how it started, the memes, but I just started following the trend on the stories and seeing how people were responding to it, and it just exploded the whole meme game. I can't tell you how many people stop me in the street and tell me, love your memes make my day, like Meme Central. And then I realized, okay, this is, the followers like this, the clients like it. And it's also a nice way to show the more relaxed side of the business and the tone that we have. And I think people can pick it up in the memes. It's got a certain tone, and I love that people love them. It's quite that happened just by chance. But now every night I'm like, oh shit, ek moet my grappies opsit. The fans are gonna complain. It needs to be on, but I'm loving it.
No, but I also love that you literally just said you tried it out, it worked. You listen to the fans of what they want and give them more of it, because that in essence is what marketing is also all about. Yes, you have to do your product push, but you also have to show the personality of the brand, because we don't like brands. We like the personality of the brand. So Kwaito Koeksister feels like it's a person, right? It's got some memes, it's got some grappies, you've got your merchandise. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it actually did turn into a person. Because initially when I started the business, I never thought that I was going to be the personality or the face behind it. But it again also organically happened that it ended up, every time, again, I did tests. So if I put a photo up, I would put a photo on of a product versus a photo of me wearing the product. And then I would put photos of other people wearing the product. And then I kind of saw that people loved seeing me in the products, which also was something that I didn't necessarily plan, but it kind of worked, because now, we didn't have a budget to have a model in any way. So it worked out like a...
And again, you were testing different things, seeing what people respond to, and just kind of grow your strategy that way. And for me, that leads perfectly into what I want to ask you, because obviously I've been watching over these years. I've been watching Kwaito Koeksister grow. And for me personally, I think while you were building the Kwaito Koeksister brand, you're also building your own personal brand. So you became like the original influencer, which is great to see. But I also want to know, you've just said it was quite random, but was there ever kind of a strategy behind that where you thought, you know what, this is working? What's the next steps to actually improve on this?
Yes, and I'm actually constantly thinking of how to improve it, because I've also noticed, you have to keep on keeping it fresh. So in the beginning, me being in random places with our clothes on worked well. But now with the introduction of Reels and TikTok becoming so massive, I needed to change that up a bit. And that is another part that I'm still not that comfortable with, but it's something that I know I have to do, and I try as much as I can. But again, it's easier to do just a photo and write a nice caption than having to really put your personality out there. And it's a daunting thing, but it's also a process that I need to do and that I'm currently trying to implement.
Since you started in 2019, you've gained quite a cult following, and you can see it all over social media. And your customers have essentially also become your influencer. Was that intentional, or how did you go about this?
It was something that I had in the back of my mind. Obviously, people buy from people, and we used to go to the festivals a lot before COVID. So when I used to meet people there, or they would buy something, I would make sure I take a photo and I'll tag them. And so I tried to push it that way. But it's something that I don't want to force down people's throats. If they're going to love the product, they're going to be posting about it, which helps. But I have a different approach. I know some people don't do that. I don't know why. Maybe I'm messing with the algorithm. But what I do is if any customer engages with me, whether it's on a DM or in a comment or whatever, even if they laugh at my meme, I follow them back. I want it to be a experience where you kind of become friends with the brand, because it's not just selling clothes. And that's also why I think a lot of people do make the effort to promote the brand and tag us and share our stuff, because they see it as a person and not just a company. Yeah, and I mean, at the festivals, it was quite cool because we used to meet, obviously at the festivals, you meet a lot of celebrities and actors and musos. So I would just always be a little slut and just run off to them and give them stuff and make sure I take a photo with them. And in the beginning, it was a big mission to make sure this brand is also, I mean, this aspirational thing of, wow, Jack Burrow's wearing our t-shirt, or this person. And I still, to this day, I do that. When we had a festival anywhere, I make sure I get them some of our merch and get force a photo on them.
I love that. It's like forced influencer. You will be my influencer.
We don't have money.
But I think you said something really important as a brand, and I think I'm just going to call it what it is. Kwaito Koeksister, it's like an influencer in pop culture in South Africa at the moment, because people endorse it, people love it, people engage with you. And just merely by you, anyone just doing any kind of engagement, you follow them back. That is what influence marketing is about. It's like a two-way conversation. It's not this, I'm following you because you're this big celebrity. It's like, I follow you, oh, you follow me back, we have conversations, you acknowledge that I exist, which is kind of the basis of what it is.
That is so cool, because I personally don't like it when people think they're better than anyone. And it's always so funny. I use Kim Kardashian's Instagram as an example of, I mean, I don't know how many people she's currently following, but I think it's 20 or something, or 100 maybe. Yeah, and I'm just always thinking, I mean, just be nice. I mean, it literally is going to cost you nothing. Not Kim, but I mean, any person to follow people back. And this weird phenomenon where people want to not follow more people than they are following, and that, I don't get that whole, I don't know, I just probably don't know enough about it, but I feel it feels very vain, and that's not the kind of brand we are and the kind of person I am and what I want to endorse as a brand, because our brand is a brand for the misfits, the misunderstoods, the people that don't get seen or feel unseen. And that's why it's important for me to do that. Like you said, you want that relationship.
And I think that's great. That is what your brand stands for. And it's not just lip service, you're actually living it. So it brings that authenticity into what you're trying to create, and you have created.
Thank you.
So then I'm going to ask you, what is your definition of an influencer specifically for Kwaito Koeksister?
For me, I'm a big sucker. If anyone sends me a message, doesn't matter if they've got 5 followers and they actually want to do this or get involved with our company, I just say yes to anyone. But it's a case of a person. Okay, let me think. What's our ultimate influencer? Is someone that is true to themselves. What you see is what you get, but also people that have, like I said, have the guts to reach out and ask that question. In general, the majority of the people that buy from us are kids in high school, and a lot of gamers, and then a lot of parents. A lot of moms buy for their teenage kids from us. So it's quite wide variety of people. But I think the perfect influencer would just be someone that's true to themselves, and even if they don't fit in anywhere else, they'll fit in with us. I don't know.
Oh, I love that. You've created like this inclusive community of all us little misfits.
Yes. So I would never, I can tell you who I'll never get as the influencer is, you know, we're not the buff sports guy, cheerleader, not really that kind of a crowd, because they, even at our stalls, they will just walk past because it's not their vibe.
So, which is great, because you obviously wanting to align with people who aligns with your brand, and that's really important to when you're choosing influencers to work with you. I see you obviously reusing a lot of the content that people post, like I'm going to call them your nano influencers, because that's what they are. They're your customers who's telling people how great your products are. What else do you do with that content? How do you make that content really sweat for you as endorsements to your brand?
Oh, well, the nano influencer ones, it's mainly, I mean, I just share it on our stories and I engage with them back. At the moment, I mean, I have been slacking a little bit in that department, pushing people to post and tag us, but so it's not necessarily on any of our order forms or anything. We just let it happen organically.
Which is amazing, because it is happening organically, which means people really, really love your product. And then when it comes to the bigger guys, like the musicians and people who post about your clothes, do you do a lot with that?
Well, yes, we do. I try and reach out to as many of them as I can. I know a lot of them personally, so that helps. There's also a few people that I've reached out to that's never bothered to reply. But I usually, like I said earlier, I mean, I get so many of these requests. So I try and find these people when they are out in the wild, if that makes sense. I try and go to the events where I know they're going to be, and rather do a personal introduction and tell the story than just sending an email of which they'll get millions. So that is the approach on that side. It's a bit of a sneaky approach, but it's been working so far.
Look, if it's working.
Winging it is my middle name.
Winging it's your strategy.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Because you need to be in the moment, and you can't be so stuck in a certain, like, I mean, that's what you do for a living. And I mean, I also, I studied marketing and all of that. But for me with this business, it just happens organically, and I need to improvise. And because social media and the trends are goes so quickly.
But last year, you had a bit of a strategy. I saw you guys reaching out to your audiences to become influencers. You're like, if you're interested, if you love us, reach out. Do you want to become an ambassador? Do you want to be an influencer? So I want you to tell us a bit more about what your thought process was behind that. What did you expect from the influencers that you picked in the end? And what was that criteria?
#NoFilter. That's how this podcast is delivering real down-to-earth stories told by real people. For an influencer campaign that takes brand conversation to everyday real-life situations, go check out theSALT.co.za. They are the undisputed experts in real influencer marketing.
Basically, yes. Because up until that point, I really got a lot of DMs and a lot of emails about people wanting to get involved. And it really got to a point where I couldn't keep track of everyone anymore. And there were so many, and some DMs will get lost in the inbox. And also some of these influencers wouldn't necessarily deliver. The ones that would contact me, I would send them a lot of stuff, and they wouldn't necessarily deliver the amount of content that I would expect. or they wouldn't post anything. So that's why I wanted to make it a bit more structured. So we started an affiliate program where everyone could, I did have that campaign and I got so many responses. But the criteria was actually, again, like what we stand for is not to exclude anyone. If you've got the guts to send me a DM, then you're in. And I received the most beautiful messages from people and why they wanted to be part of our brand and part of the team. And I just couldn't just pick a few. So I literally picked everyone. There was 150 or something. And I created the affiliate program where each of them would get 100 Rand voucher, and then they could buy. So that there's also a little bit of responsibility on them. And that way I wanted to like skei die koring van die kalf, to see who's actually serious and who's not. So, and that helped quite a lot. And people were very excited about it. And just as it got like full swing, Survivor obviously happened. So I have been not as busy on that front. It's something that we have in the pipeline to explore a little bit more and give them more incentives.
What are your expectations, or what would the expectations be from your influencers essentially?
Well, for me, I don't like to be too much, like, prescriptive of what they should do. I like them sticking to what they're good at and what they know and where their niche is. So I did work with a bunch of influencers on TikTok, and they would all ask me, like, what should I do? How many of this or that? And I just knew that the product would sell itself and they just need to stick to what they're doing. So I would not expect someone to, if they are just like telling jokes on their TikTok, to now talk about a t-shirt and just like endorse it so forcefully. So I would mainly let them just wear it, take photos, not make it out to be like this massive ad, if that makes sense. And that's I think I get more trust that way. And because people also they're so over these things. Oh, look, I'm unboxing this. Oh, wow. I mean, it does feel fake. So my only criteria was do what you do and just be yourself. And people will notice what you're wearing. And that way we'll get our clients.
For sure. And I always say this, if you're going to go the influencer marketing route, yes, obviously put some do's and don'ts in, but don't be too prescriptive. If you don't want it to be an ad, then you might as well go do an ad, because people are going to respond the same way. Like you say, I think unboxings of most things, not all things, but in most categories, it's like, when I see one, I'm like, oh, well, okay, I don't really care. Right?
Because it's been done too many times. It automatically makes you want to scroll past. So, times have changed. And as I said earlier, Definitely. It changes so quickly.
Definitely. And also, if someone can do an unboxing that's not as dry as what everyone's been doing it, then I'll be interested again.
Yes, no, that's true.
I've got a box. Let me open it and show you. Yeah.
I would rather let them wear or use whatever I have, and that way, it will be more organic.
For sure. So have you seen major impact from the influencer marketing content on Kwaito Koeksister? What's the response been?
Yes, especially on TikTok. TikTok has worked well for us. You could clearly see the follow count going up, and you could see spikes in that. So it's really helped a lot. Especially on TikTok, because it's a platform where we are not as well known yet and don't have that many followers. So that fed in nicely to our TikTok following and also increasing our Instagram following, which was great. I really enjoyed working with those influencers because they are really so on top of it. So no, it definitely influences sales, and it definitely also influences your social media following, which will hopefully convert into sales in the future.
So then why did you go this route, like more digital influencer marketing and not the more traditional forms of marketing that's out there?
Well, I've always loved content marketing and people just being themselves. And by the way, seeing a product, it's not as forced. And I mean, I think that's also the downfall of Facebook at the moment is the amount of ads. And if it says sponsored underneath it, people will scroll past. But if it's someone that they like watching or are interested in or are friends with, it just happens more organically, and by word of mouth, your brand will grow. I think the old way of doing it is unfortunately the old way, and that's not working for us anymore. And it will stop working, I think, altogether. I mean, if you look at television ads and those proper traditional marketing avenues, it's like dying.
Well, we all have catch up on Netflix now and on demand. I don't think I've seen an ad in years. I'm not going to lie.
And also, if you look at the affordability, I mean, if you look at radio ads or TV ads or newspaper ads, price-wise compared to, for us, mainly sending product to influencers is way more cost-effective and actually more effective in the long run because they trust that person that is showing them the product instead of just a random ad or radio something.
For sure. And I think it all comes down to what you were saying. It's that relatability to someone that you know or you like. It's accessibility. You trust them. Instead of a brand telling you how cool they are. I mean, everyone's going to do that. Someone you like or trust is telling you, these guys are cool. You're more likely to be like, let me check this out, right?
Yes, and also, I mean, I've noticed, I think if you type in Kwaito Koeksister in Google, I think at one point the first thing that popped up was, is it a scam? Because people, there are so many scams out there. There's so many online shops that they do the conversions and you think it's in rands, and once you order, you realize it's going to come from China or wherever, and you're going to wait 3 months for it. And people are scared. I mean, I get so many WhatsApps and DMs. Are you real? Is it real? Is it safe? So when you then make use of influencers, like you said, that trust, because now people know, okay, I can trust. This is real. My friend has bought from them. And that gives you the credibility in the online space so that people trust you with their money.
Absolutely. And you're right. There's so many scams out there that I Google so many reviews of something if I haven't made use of them before. And I ask friends and I ask family, like, do you know it? Have you had an experience? Because we have been scammed, all of us, I think.
Yeah, it's scary what's out there. It's really scary.
Okay, so let's talk Survivor. Okay. So I was sitting one night, I'm checking this and saying, oh, Survivor's coming up. And I see, what? I know that chick. She's going to be on Survivor. We're watching. Told my mother, and my mother's like, oh, we must watch Santoni. We have to check it out. I would love to know how did you become a contestant on Immunity Island?
Oh my goodness. So I entered Survivor 4 times before eventually getting in. I've always wanted to do it. And for this season, there was quite a process. You go through a massive process. But after 4 times, I think they felt so sorry for me, they decided they're going to have to just give me a chance. So, yes, we were supposed to go in March, I think just before the lockdown. And then it was postponed. And, eventually, I can't even remember now what year we shot. But, I got picked. And that was like a bit of a lifelong dream, to be honest.
That's amazing. So it wasn't just you entered once and there you go.
No, I'm not one of those people. I don't ever get picked first. I'm usually the one that gets picked last. Yeah, but it's also fitting, actually, me not on paper being good enough, and then you give that person a chance and they might surprise you.
Absolutely. But I also want to know, was it a little bit, even if it was just partially, I know you said it was a lifelong dream, but was it a bit of a business or strategic business move to kind of elevate your own influencer status?
Yes, definitely. It was. I mean, since I was small, I always wanted to be famous, and now I realize why, because it empowers you to be able to do what you love, and it, yeah. So it was something that I did keep in mind, because also it's a big risk that you take in terms of time that you need to be away from your business. So I had to weigh up the pros and cons, and for my line of business, it would help the business to be out, because we were pretty much away for like 56 days where the business, and it was over December, which is our busiest time. So yes, no, that was definitely a part of the consideration. Just a funny little story when it comes to now influencing. When the first day on the island, I realized I was the oldest person there. Everyone was 28 on that tribe.
Oh gosh. Yeah,
literally
we can't remember
everyone.
28. Like,
I know, and they were all like looking at me like I'm the old lady, and I've never felt so self-conscious in a very long time, because usually I could fit in wherever, but it's a bit different. But anyway, so a bunch of the castaways were talking about they hope this will improve their Instagram followers and blah blah blah, and want to do it to elevate their like status and blah blah blah. And as they're talking, the one person said, "Oh no, I've got 1,000." And I thought, okay, this is my chance. And I said, "Oh, I've got 7,000 Instagram followers." And they were like, "What?" And with that little thing, I got some street cred in Survivor.
That's crazy. Your Instagram following.
Yeah, that gave me street cred, because then after that, they all wanted to talk to me. So it's funny how these things work. So Instagram probably helped me more in Survivor than eventually Survivor helped my Instagram, or at that point at least.
That's hilarious. I love that so much. So the youngsters thought this old lady was okay now.
Yes, it's so funny. Like how shallow we are as people.
Oh look, it never surprises me anymore.
Oh, I can imagine.
So has the elevated status of being in Survivor and doing so well on it, has it actually had a positive impact on your business, on your profits?
Yes, definitely. We grew a lot while the season was on. And I mean, like I said, from when I went on to Survivor up until now, the following on Instagram doubled. So yes, it's definitely helped. Again, in terms of obviously the awareness, because what I've done, I mean, I don't have a personal Instagram. My Instagram is our business Instagram. So people, because I follow the show, they wanted to follow me. And inevitably, they're following our business. So that all worked out beautifully. And it really, I mean, I think our sales almost doubled, to be honest, because of that.
That's amazing.
It really, really made a massive difference.
No, I think doubling sales is incredible. I know some people go on these things and nothing happens except their Instagram following grows, right?
Oh, really? Yeah, it does. That's actually the point I was trying to make, is some people have this illusion that once you've been on TV, it's just now, while away, you're going to be on 100,000 followers, boom, life sorted. But
and you don't have to work for anything. You can just sit at home, sip
get the free
cocktails. It's all good.
No, that doesn't happen. No free stuff.
You haven't gotten anything for free since being on Survivor.
No, actually not. I don't think I fit in a specific mold. I mean, remember, the people that send these things are fitness people. But no, I'm kidding. I have had a few deals with hair companies and the people that I use for my collagen. But I try and reach out to brands that I'm already using, so that it doesn't feel forced or as if I'm putting it down my followers' throat. I don't want to annoy our followers, because we're already trying to push our own products. I don't want it to become cheap by just having a bunch of stuff you're trying to sell them that they're not necessarily interested in.
But that's the perfect mindset of an influencer, right? You use it, you love it, you tell people about it. Yeah, that's the most authentic type you can get. So well done.
Oh, good. Yay. You see, I wing it. And
love it.
And now you're affirming that I'm winging it correctly.
You are winging it correctly. So do you have any wisdom or lessons that you have learned in influence marketing over the last couple of years that you can maybe share with us?
Oh, you know what I do a lot? I probably spend more time watching TikTok videos, going through Instagram. And that's what I try and constantly do and that's the advice I would give is see what people are doing and get inspired by other people and explore other platforms that are new to you that you might be scared of. Because that's a big thing, or was a big thing for me with TikTok. And even now, to get familiar with the platform and take time to see what other people are doing, but also then to get to a point where okay, this is what people are doing, but this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I feel comfortable with, and trying to find that sweet spot and not lose yourself. Because, I mean, TikTok's a very good example of that. I mean, I can't dance to save my ass. So I need to, and I'm still, it's a work in progress, trying to figure out where you are comfortable in and, how to work the platform to suit you, but also to show your followers what they want to see and what they know you for. And then also the other part, I mean, like I said earlier, I didn't get a bunch of stuff for free. It's not as if brands are knocking on my door. And I've noticed that you should ask, not wait until you've reached X amount of followers and now you think it's just going to come streaming in. I think it's important to go and explore the brands that you're already using and brands that you would like to use, and then just reach out. Because the worst that can happen is they can just say no.
And then from a business point of view, what lessons have you learned using influencers?
I think it's important to, with influence, it's a tricky thing. Like I said earlier, I would send people stuff and then they wouldn't do anything or post anything. So you have to have a fine balance between telling them what you require from them or giving them that freedom, but also having some, strings attached, like at least guarantee me one post or this or that without being too prescriptive and too demanding, because they should like doing stuff for you and it mustn't be an effort or a schlep. And maybe that's why we started the affiliate program, where there is also some responsibility on the influencer to generate the kind of either likes or conversions or comments or whatever. Because it sometimes seems once they get the product, they kind of forget about the fact that they actually have to do a job to justify whatever the monetary value is.
I think having an incentive in place it keeps them accountable as well.
Yes, it is. And you must make it worth their while. Also, not reach out to influencers that are not going to work for your brand in any way just because they've got a lot of followers. It just doesn't make sense. Because you might get a bunch of likes from it, but you're not going to get the conversion.
It's again that aligning with the right people for your brand, because they have the audiences that's right for you. It doesn't help if you've got these, you were saying earlier, like these big fitness people now endorsing Kwaito Koeksister, and their followers are like, okay, cool.
Too weird for me.
Yeah. So no, that makes perfect sense to me.
Also for me, I mean, it's weird having to deal with influence and having to do it yourself, and got so many hats on when it comes to by doing everything myself.
Welcome to small business, right?
Nee, I know, but I love it. I love it. I don't, Bietjie van 'n kontrolfreak.
No, that's fine. It's working for you. But Santoni, that comes to the end of our chat. And it was so lovely speaking to you and just finding out more about you and Kwaito Koeksister and how you actually built this business when it comes to the influencer side of things and the impact it's had. So before we go, can you maybe tell us where to find you online?
So our website is www.kwaitokoeksister.com. You can find us at Kwaito Koeksister on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Twitter. So we are everywhere. So it would be great if you love what we do or what we stand for, what I stand for, to go gooi as a follow.
Fantastic. Santoni, thanks again so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Anne. It was so much fun.
So much fun. But we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Bye.
This podcast series has been made possible by theSALT, the influencer company that turns influence into affluence. In the same way that information is presented in this podcast in a relatable and authentic way, theSALT gets your customers to tell their real brand stories to their community. Go to thesalt.co.za to learn more about how theSALT can help you grow your business.